Good evening. I'd like to call the regular city council meeting to order for May 22nd, 2023. Please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good evening. First, what I'd like to do is get the approval, a motion for the approval for the minutes from May 8th, 2023, our regular city council meeting.
I'll make that motion.
I'll
Makes
second.
the motion and Jackie seconds the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried to approve the minutes from the May 8th, 2023 regular city council meeting. First, I'd like to ask for additions to the agenda this evening. I do have one, if anybody else has one. Jackie?
No, did the shelter thing get added onto this one for the
I have a
Big
number of
Sisters?
additions
Oh,
as
you
well.
do?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to do mine first? or-
Go ahead.
Okay, so what I'd like to add would be the lot that TBC, we were looking at, working out something with them, so it'd be lot 3, block 2, for lot 1, block 2. That was for the dollar. And I'd just like to have a discussion. It didn't work out, the 60 feet. It didn't work out, but Bob and I met with them, we got a compromise, so I'd like to add that to the agenda.
Sure, and then Zach is here. He's going to give a report and some decisions to be made there. And then the new fire truck discussion, I sent an email today from Chief Rushlow on that. And then there's an additional concrete permit from Jim Gruber. That'll be part of James's report. And then Big Brothers Big Sisters had a donation request as well.
So we have the TVC, a fire truck. and
That's
what
for
was
just
it?
a shelter, right? For Big Brother, Big Sister?
Big Brothers Big Sisters for the shelter request. I guess if you want to handle that under the shelter
Yeah,
donations,
let's
that
do
would.
that. If you can just add that to that one.
Mhm.
And there's one more.
The concrete permit, that'll be handled through the planning and zoning,
Okay.
and then Zach.
And then Dan Roshlow's under department reports will just kind of go under there, you think?
It's up to the mayor. I
Yeah,
mean,
there you go. Yeah, that works. Yep. And then Zach would be under that too then.
Sure.
Do I need a motion for that?
I'll
Addition?
make a motion to approve the agenda with the additions.
Okay, Jackie makes a motion to approve the new agenda with the additions.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried for the additions to the agenda for tonight's meeting. So what I'd like to do, if I'm just gonna do mine first, I think.
I would do
You want to
the
do planning?
planning
and
and
zoning?
zoning
go
and
ahead.
get that out of
Okay,
the
I'm
way.
sorry. Go ahead.
You need a microphone.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're taking over for Jim? You're the new Jim? Gerber?
Tonight,
Interim.
interim.
Yeah.
So I did talk to Jim today. He's doing a lot better than what he was.
I've been seeing him canning around in his yard
Yeah,
because I only live 2 doors down.
yeah, he's slowly
So,
getting around,
yeah.
so that's.
Well, good. Him and his wife go on walks all the time, so I'm glad he's
Poor
out.
guy broke a ton of ribs in his collarbone, and
What happened?
he fell like 4 feet off of his four-wheeler cutting a tree down. And
Well, I hope
So what
he
you got,
feels
Jim?
better.
Let's go.
All right. So bear with me. This is the first time I've ever done this. But our planning and zoning meeting, we had accepted our minutes from 5/8/23, and then today's agenda consisted of Randy Wytoshik on 219 Second Avenue Northeast, a fence permit. It was pretty clear cut and dry. He had approval from both neighbors, Mike Waitala as well as Austin Marshall. And in this particular case, there was a motion made, seconded, and all were in favor. The second thing, Chad Thiesing at 106 4th Avenue Southeast. a discussion regarding the previous condition from 5/8/2023. We had an interpretation provided by Amanda Peterson in a discussion with Bob on City Council here. And then the interpretation and recommendation as in altering the previous addendum, we had made the recommendation that it, instead of the structure not being within 10 feet of any existing structure, but rather can't be within 10 feet of a side lot line nor a rear lot line, and has a minimum setback of 20 feet from any street right-of-ways. This would allow in compliance with 1413-04 sub -1. So, and then also the other condition that we had made previously on 5/8 was to have Dave Barsotti take a look at it, and on 5/11/2023, he had approved the building permit application and was approved by Dave Barsotti. A motion was made, seconded, and all were in favor. Last but not least is the concrete permit for driveway for Jim Gruber at 201 Vincent Street North. The concrete permit for the driveway running from Vincent Street North and heading east. He's replacing his asphalt driveway exactly the same size. There was a motion made, seconded, and then all were in favor.
Good job, Jim. That's
Perfect.
Perfect.
I'll make the motion to accept the building permits as read.
great. Don makes a motion to accept the building permits as read.
I'll second.
Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed to accept the minutes as read. Okay, so now I guess I'd like to cover the situation with TBC. So when we talked at the last meeting, Bob and I went out and met with TBC at the industrial park, and what we're trying to do was there's a lot between, an open lot between us and TBC, and then we have the lot for sale on the south side of TBC. And they were gonna give us 60 feet. They were gonna give us 60 feet on our side, so we'd have room to drive vehicles around and maybe put some salt platforms there, dirt platforms, and do some work with it. And in turn, we were gonna give them lot 1, block 2, which is right on the corner, which isn't as in a desirable site as the one that they currently own. So what happened was, we did the survey, and you see that line that's going straight across is the 60-foot line, and the lot's 150 feet. They put a cement pad down on their lot, and a couple other things, and Bob and I discussed it, and I looking at this, I didn't quite understand until we actually went out there and looked at it, and it just is real tough for those guys to be able to make that work. They park boats out there and other things, and I know the line, it's 60 feet on the roadside and it's 35 feet in the back, but their building, it's kind of like our building, it's at an angle, so it kind of throws that straight across 60-foot line off. So the decision that we have to basically make is, do we want to take the way it's drawn with 60 feet on the west side to 35 feet on the, 60 feet on the east side to 35 feet on the west side? Or do we pass on it and do we just sell that lot for market price, the one to the south of them? I can really go either way on it. The cleanest way is probably accept the proposal, the 35 feet to 60 feet, but I'm kind of up in the air. So I don't know what, I don't know if you got any thoughts, Donnie, on it? Or?
Well, looking at it, I think we're better off accepting their offer and getting that 60 feet towards the front, because would give us the room for Eric to get around to the backside to do anything we want to do. Right now, we couldn't fit anything, I don't think, the way the dotted line, I mean, I can't tell how many feet that is, but to me, I think we're better off to say, let's accept what they're saying and let's move on.
Our driveway is actually over a couple of feet onto their lot too, so that kind of makes a difference with that 60 feet. It'd be like cleaner that if we got that from them, required it, then we wouldn't have to worry about busting up the cement and putting a new curb in for our driveway either. I don't know, what do you think, Jack?
No, I agreed with the proposal that you had sent, and I think that it's a good idea. I mean, if it works for both of them, then it works for both, for us both.
Okay, well, if we could get a motion and we just kind of want to accept the new proposal, if that's okay.
I'll make a motion to accept the new proposal.
Okay, Jackie makes a motion to accept the new proposal for lot 2, like block 2, lot 3. And if I get a second?
I'll make the motion for the second.
Okay, Diane makes a motion to second that. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion passed to accept the modified proposal for lot 2, block 3, block 2. Okay. So, next we have the assistant maintenance tech position.
You want Zach up here for that?
Yeah, that would be great.
Didn't know if you were gonna put that down on the shelf on the bottom, but you're good.
Yeah, I didn't. Good evening.
Turned on?
Yeah.
I did turn it on, it's on.
Yeah, we need to post the position again, and I think we need to put a wage range this time because I think we'll get better chance of getting candidates. If I ever looked at postings on anywhere, if it doesn't have a wage, I don't even pay attention to it because what are they willing to pay? So.
And I thought we had talked about a wage range when we had done it initially.
We did,
I
but we
just-
never posted it
With
because we
it-
never,
with the range?
council never.
Oh, I thought we approved it, so I apologize if we didn't, but I thought that was discussed. Yes, go ahead and post it with the wage range, but I don't. Neither here nor there. Otherwise, I think, just for the purpose of kind of what we discussed or what I feel like, would be a good wage range is there was some discussion on what you're kind of looking for as far as that. And I think kind of the wage rate comparisons and different things like that. I know Nate's not going to work out long-term for the city. Is that something that you've considered, or what's the whole scenario with that going on?
Yes, we've looked into that, yeah. So we
And-
basically need to hire his position again.
Okay.
And so we need to post, I would like to post a wage range, and I would like to see between $25 and $32 an hour, depending on obviously ability, and gives us options, because last time basically our only option, because we weren't willing to go any higher, was hiring Nate.
Yeah, and we've talked about it, and I'm uncomfortable going up to $32 an hour because.
I don't feel like that's really fair to other staff members as well. I'd be more than happy to do something like up to 28. But, just as far as I'm concerned, I feel like overall, especially if this was next season or we'd talked about other wage increases and they'd gone over that, I just think from that perspective, I'm more okay with the up to 28 an hour.
I agree with Jackie.
So last time, two that we offered it to needed 28 with the, I need to get 29 within 6 months if everything works out. And so those two, and because we couldn't go that high,
So
They turned it
need to
down.
go with to 29 with what? What did they need to do within 6 months? Did we give
28 was
stipulations?
what they were willing to start at.
Okay.
And then basically, if they do everything that they say they can do, we would relook at them in 90 days to 66 months and put them up to 29.
Are there classifications, like we had done kind of certain classifications and stuff that we'd had to have like Eric get to in order to like move up? Is that what we're talking about? Like they get these things and they go
Yeah,
up
then
that dollar?
that was,
Or is that kind of what we're talking about here?
that was in there, but I mean, all said and done, once they got those classifications, they needed to be at 29 in 6 months.
So then where would they be at? Let's say they're at 29 in 6 months, where are they gonna be at in a year? I mean,
Whatever
right,
wage
is that how-
increases
what kind
are.
of Step, I mean, I guess what are you looking at? What kind of a step?
Typically do it based on performance is what we've kind of done it in the past. And so typically we haven't done less than a cost of living increase is what we've kind of done.
So
Ben.
it was like,
It's depending.
yeah, I'm sorry. It was like what Jackie said though, that once we start going over 28, we start running into issues with other personnel that the city employs with their pay levels. And I don't think we're set as a council to give everybody a pay raise too based off of one person that we're hiring. And I don't, it's just a bad position to put the city in. So we're kind of caught in a kind of a conundrum.
And I don't think that it's like one of those things. I think we can definitely put like the wage up to $28 an hour. And if that's a conversation where we're like, okay, in 6 months, if he obtains these things, I have no problem having a discussion about increasing his wage in 6 months. But I'm not also going to add that to an employment contract that you will get this if you pass all of this. It's really going to be, this is where we're going to start out with, and we're going to have a 6-month review, and we'll look at things. We're not going to make additional promises, especially because we are looking at getting benefits and we are looking at other things like that I'm actively looking at too. So from that kind of a standpoint, I just feel like at this point, like we're already looking at increasing the levy to fix things and do things like that. Where we could be at in a year, I don't know. But there are other things that the city does afford that I think offset wages a little bit too. So we have to have a conversation with that. And if it's a good candidate, that's not to say we have to hire at that wage rate, but we have to at least establish a baseline here. Because what incentive do other employees who've really put in a lot of hard work have to do more if we're going to hire somebody out instead of, you know what I mean? Like from that perspective, he'd have to be a stellar candidate for us to be like, yeah, we're going to go above and beyond what other people of management level are making.
What do you think, Donnie? What are your thoughts on it?
I'm not in favor of going up above what some of our staff is getting now.
Me too.
But,
So, go ahead.
Well, that being said, then that comes to mind is how do we help that staff if we can? Or are we prepared to have that staff say, the heck with you? I'm hoping that he'll never do that, but
Right.
we could have somebody walk out just because we're paying somebody more.
Are you comfortable with posting something like 25 to 28, or do you think we should just post something and say pay on experience?
I wouldn't, it'd be easier to say pay on experience, but I wouldn't post it any higher than what, if we're gonna put a post on there, if we're willing to pay 28, I wouldn't say we're gonna pay 35,
No.
because we're misleading everybody that's out there. I wouldn't put 29 down. If Jackie's saying that we're willing to do 28, that's gotta be the high number. I don't,
Yeah. I just, for me, and like looking at it as being fiscally responsible too, like we have to also be making sure that we're
you have to
adjusting
realize,
our lifestyle. Like we're already looking at an increased levy too. So from that standpoint, we have to be,
and you have to realize if you put down $25 to $28,
It's gonna be
we're,
28.
We are
it's
looking at
28. It's not 25 because somebody's gonna say, I want 28. You said you're gonna pay 28.
well, it's same with what we post. Like when I post at Wabash, we have it based on years of experience and also shift, right? So we have our thing here that's start out at 20.50 an hour, and if you have 3 years plus experience and you show an a stellar kind of resume, I'll pay at the high end. If we get a candidate, pool of candidates, and it's like, we'll give you a try. Sure, we'll start you out here, but I think it's fair to ask, where do you see yourself? And having those questions of, with our employees, what's your resume look like? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What makes you a stellar candidate for us? Why do you want to come here? We're not looking to come to a city to make a bunch of money. We have 1,500 people that we're answering to at the end of the day. Not one of us have less than one supervisor, because the entire town is who we answer to. So from that perspective, it's one of those things that we have to take a good hard look at and say, I'm just not willing to go up to $32 an hour for another new employee at that point. If we're going to get somebody in and they want to work their way up, I have no problem talking about a step program with them. I have no problem talking about incentivizes and getting into if you take these courses and you do these things and you're getting there, no problem talking about those wage increases.
As long as we can find somebody, that's where we're at.
And everybody is that way. I've had a maintenance supervisor posted that's a salaried role above and beyond what anybody makes here for over a year. That's how it is.
Is there a way, Bob, that we can expand our horizon a little bit, as far as trying to find somebody? Maybe go to, I have no idea, St. Cloud, Brainerd, and I maybe Indeed.
We can post the job on Indeed and also boost the post where we're spending $100 a month on it. We can also, I think it would make sense to reach out to CLC, see if there's any graduates in their maintenance tech programs that potentially could,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think, be graduating soon. The less we have to teach mechanically, I think the better. And a lot of those young kids are willing to start at that $22, $25, $28 an hour, starting out of school, knowing that there's room for growth.
And I know, Zach's looking for somebody that can step in at some point, maybe not right away, but step into his position. So that might be a little tough, but I mean, I think it's worth looking at though, Jack.
Depending on the right candidate, I think.
To get the right person, right?
So I did try Indeed for our clubhouse manager. That was my first go around with Indeed. It just seemed like a lot of management, and it was just my first time doing it, but it's a lot of emails every day. This person emailed you, you email back.
You can
So
set it up to, not to interrupt, but you can set it up to where the candidates can't contact you. And you can sponsor the job or sponsor the posting, and give it a monthly sponsorship. So I have no problem kind of walking through on that piece. That sponsorship is really per click, so it's how many people are seeing it.
I would request somebody else manage it then if it's really, quite honestly, the Indeed I didn't care for. But we can do
Facebook, you can do the paper.
we can do the League of Minnesota Cities Facebook. Central Lakes College is a great idea. They've got the heavy machinery program. So to pick up a 22-year-old is possible.
Yeah.
I guess one thing I will say as a city administrator, I think part of the reason we're in this situation is because our current employees are underpaid. And if I look at the wage plus benefits, I think that's a large part of our problem.
Yeah. And we talked about that
So-
too. That paying somebody more doesn't guarantee you're going to guarantee it's going to work any harder, but it does help. There's some hopefully a benefit there, but
There's room for improvement there, and we're working on it. The patience I know is running thin, but I also know that our heart, when we're saying it, our heart is in the right place and our intentions are pure. We have to get things under control in that aspect. And like I said, I have reached out for other benefit pieces, and we have to look at our wages are what they are, and that's excluding benefits. And that is what it is. And I get that piece, and it's not fair. If I could just go and say, yep, let's go do it, I would tomorrow. But we have to be responsible with that. And are we underpaid? Probably a little bit, yeah. For what you do, 100%. But we also are a town of 1,400 people. not 18, not 13, we have to be, we're in a different scenario.
So do you guys, are you comfortable with 20, I pick a low number, 25 to 28, Donnie, or do you still want to go without posting a? you okay?
I'm okay for up to 28,
Yeah,
and
me
I'm okay
too.
with posting it with just the opposite way of just saying, either one doesn't, I don't care.
I know it, I just don't,
I get what Zach's saying, if you don't put a
Yeah.
number there, how many are gonna look, but if we wanna try it that way, or if we wanna automatically say 25 to 28,
because you know they're gonna be 28. I mean, that's just.
that's why I
reason-
wouldn't go any higher than that,
No.
because we know that.
Yeah, okay, so if you guys, if somebody wants to give me a motion, I don't have a problem with that either.
I'll make a motion to post the position for a wage range of $25 to $28, depending on experience.
Okay, Jackie makes a motion to post the new position for $25 to $28.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Now we should, you're probably gonna say what I was gonna say.
It'd be helpful to have a hiring committee and
That's
then
what I
a
was just gonna
lead
say.
for that hiring committee.
I'll be back, I'll be on the hiring committee. You want to be on it, Donnie?
Unless Jackie wants to be on it once, I've been on it every time so far, or Kyle,
Unless you want to be on it.
or Gary.
I can
We're
be
not
on
here to
it.
say nothing.
Oh, that's right, we'll put Gary on it.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. 'cause
That's not really fair. He just got married. Come on. He's still on his
We
honeymoon.
put Kyle and Gary on it. No, if you want to, Jackie.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, and then if Jackie's got a business issue up or something, Donnie, you could sub for, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And then I would suggest Zach and Eric, and I would certainly be willing to if you feel that would be necessary as well.
Yeah, so we just do 4, we don't want to have more than 4, so you guys figure out who wants to be on it.
I would suggest Zach and Eric then.
Perfect.
And then who would take the lead on it?
Who's?
It's helpful just to have one point person.
Yeah, who's the supervisor? So who's gonna be there, one of the supervisors?
Well, last time it was Zach that was the supervisor.
Should we give
Zach,
Eric a shot?
well, Zach took the lead last time and
Yeah.
did a fabulous job. There's nothing, I won't say
He
anything
did,
bad
he
about
did do a
it, but
great job.
whether or not he wants it or if he wants to,
I don't mind doing it. It's right now.
he's swamped as all heck because he
I'm
is.
not going to get everything done I want done for this Memorial Weekend. And going through this again, taking time
Well, it's
away.
not gonna be, the ad's not gonna get posted for, I don't know, if they're- when. does it
Tomorrow.
come? Tomorrow?
Try to get it on Facebook tomorrow.
But if that's, I need to do it, I'll do it.
We don't have to do anything till the next week if you don't, I mean, if we got a lot going on.
I would say post it. We'll have some time to discuss it at the end of next week with any candidates that come in. We're probably realistically looking at them starting the first week in June or later. So,
The other thing was we put on there, open until filled. Is that something you want to do again? It
Continue
seemed
that.
to help.
yep,
Yeah.
continue that.
Okay.
Because the reality is, it could take a while.
Thank you, Zach.
Thanks, Zach.
Okay, so the next item is the donation request for the Pierz Oktoberfest Committee. So I've recently joined the Oktoberfest Committee to help out this year. It actually took Bob's spot. If you look at, I know they're requesting $1,500, but we only have $1,000 left in our donation funds. So I guess my suggestion is that we give them the last $1,000 and.
For who?
We're
Sorry.
kind of done for the year giving out donations. That'd be my suggestion. I don't wanna go over our set amount that we have and we got $1,000 left. Unless, was there somebody else that wanted donations? No, it's just those guys, right? Yeah. So I would suggest giving them the $1,000 that we have left, even though they got 1,500 last year. And I can talk to them and explain the situation.
Hey, Bob, can I get that maintenance position emailed to me too?
Thoughts?
I'm fine with that.
Are you fine with it?
I'll make the motion to donate $1,000, the last 1,000 that we have left in our fund, to Pierz Oktoberfest.
Yep, Donnie makes a motion to donate $1,000 to the Pierz Oktoberfest Committee.
And I'll second.
Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to donate $1,000 to the Pierz Oktoberfest Committee. The next item is the shelter donation request. One is for the Pierz Commercial Club. They're gonna do like a cookout for the commercial club members. And then the second one is Father Pierz School of Religion. You know, to me personally, the Father Pierz School of Religion is kind of a slam dunk. I would see that would be a given for me to donate it to them. Pierz Commercial Club, you know, they do generate income and have dues and things like that. So
They are a nonprofit.
and they are. Yeah, so I'm just gonna finish up and say but they do a lot for our community, and I feel we should do what we can do to help them out as well. I mean, I have a little bit on the fence, but they're a valuable part of our organization.
So the Big Brothers Big Sister is the third one that now wants a shelter?
That's July 13th, right?
That was,
Somebody checked, are all the dates actually open?
we work with Tony on that, so
Okay. So they are? I
I'll
mean,
check with Tony
oh,
on that.
okay.
She's got all this information, so.
So to me, the Big Brothers Big Sisters would fall under the Father Pierz School of Religion, same kind of a thing. I think that's something we can do on our part to.
Yeah, I mean, I would make a motion to give them the shelters,
all three.
all three.
Okay, Jackie makes a motion to give the Pierz Commercial Club, Father Pierz School of Religion, and the Big Brothers Big Sisters shelter donation.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to give the Commercial Club, the Father Pierz School of Religion, and the Big Brother Big Sisters shelter donations down at the park. Department reports. So we have Dan Rushlow, the fire chief, who is not here. There, and I think we got the information, but Bob, maybe run over really quick on the pickup truck that they're looking at, I think, for next year.
Yeah, so they actually put a grant in, and they have not received word if they receive that grant or not. And the truck that the fire department's looking at is a 2024 GMC Sierra 3500. It's a 4x4 crew cab, and the idea with this piece of equipment, it would replace the Yukon that the fire department currently has. That Yukon is the old squad car, and it's used on grass fires mostly. And it pulls a trailer with our UTV that we use for grass fires. Another use that it gets is when we have large fires, we unhook that trailer and we bring firemen out to the scene. It would be helpful to have a truck like this to throw equipment, hoses and such at large fires. We've never had, I mean, I've been on the fire department a number of years, we've never had a truck like this before the Yukon. So the Yukon was kind of this first generation of this extra truck, and now this brand new truck would replace that Yukon. There is no money in the dedicated funds for the fire department. So one of the big purchases this year is obviously the bunker gear, which is still kind of coming in, so.
Would we be paying for this, Bob, next year or this year, do you think?
So I think he's estimating 10 to 12 months to get it. So we would have time, like you said, to figure that out.
And we're responsible for half of it?
Well, I guess I'll let John and Don speak to that. It was brought up at the PRAFPA meeting,
I
so.
think it's 30%.
They were talking a third, and a third at one point. Us, this PRAPA, and the fire department with their pull tab money.
So the cost, I believe I had that was right around 52,000.
Yeah, 50,305 is what I have.
Okay.
That's how much we're responsible for?
No,
Or that's
that's the whole truck.
Say-
Then divide that in three.
Yeah, I'm vetoing that one if we can't hire somebody for $28 an hour.
Yeah.
And divide that in three, and then that's what we're responsible for.
16,000. I think we can get that in there. We might have a couple of bucks left over from the other ARPA money too in there, so maybe it'd be 10 grand or something like that.
One thing Chief Rushlow and I worked hard on last year, I put together a schedule for all the pieces of equipment that we have, all the large ones, and we put a expected life on that. And every year we can update that estimated replacement cost. We've been doing similar things in parks and public works to try to get a good budget number every year. We were at 20,000, it needs to be at 35 or 40. So that amount every year can at least be budgeted, and we have money of,
Do we have to vote on that, Bob, to move it up to 35,000, the budget for that stuff?
that would be part of the budget approval at that
I think
point.
that's a good idea,
Yeah.
actually.
But I guess if the choice tonight would be if the council wants to move forward with this purchase regardless of the grant.
If I could get a motion,
And that, so if they don't do the grant, that PRAFA won't be covering it then?
Yeah.
So then we would be responsible.
No, if we get the grant, it's gonna be very inexpensive, a couple
It's
thousand.
like, yeah, 1,500 or
Okay.
1,800 if they get the grant. The grant will cover everything except
If we
for
don't, we're paying the
some taxes.
16,000 regardless.
yeah.
And I think the grant is supposed to be in the next month or two is where they're supposed to hear.
I've never heard that date, so I don't know.
I thought at the PRAFA, he said it was gonna be June,
I think so.
May or June, so. It's a state, you never know if it's forward or backward. They're never early. As we all know.
How soon do they need to know to place the order?
They can't place the order until they hear yay or nay from the grant.
Till they hear yea or nay from the grant?
Right.
So can we table this until we have a full council then to officially approve it and get everybody's input?
I don't, that doesn't matter to me.
I mean, I just feel like it's $16,000 when we're looking at the levy is still a lot of money.
Okay.
And I feel like
You
we
guys
need
wanna
to,
table it? We can.
Yeah.
just so we're all on the same page. So I make a motion to table that until we have a full council.
Jackie makes a motion to table the fire truck proposal.
I'll second it.
Donnie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. To table the fire truck. Eric, you're up.
Good evening. Just kind of give you an update on what's going on in town, with the public works end of it. So we're gonna go forward, and well, we're gonna be doing our routine, the white curb painting around town. The yellow curb paving will be getting done. We are back working on potholes. We did receive some more cold patch, so we'll be back on that. We did get the flowers all planted for the businesses today or this evening or whatever, and then, so we'll be distributing those more towards the end of the week. We'll get those out. We'll be getting the flags put up around town, and I also have for Mike Schaefer seal coating to get some roads seal coated in town here. We're looking at right around $10,849 to do. I'll just kind of list off the streets I got here. I got Carr Street, Ronald, Cassie, Industrial Park Road, Robert Street, Cody Court, Faust Street, Edward Street, except for where we put the new tar down, or no. Actually have that down on there. I can't remember now. Darn it. It's actually all of Edward Street, because the new tar we put down, we're gonna seal the cracks on that. That's what we did. First, I was thinking we weren't gonna. But, and then I got Kapsner Street. There's Kapsner Street South, there's some on there, and then there's a section on Kapsner Street North that we'd like to do. The north side is $247 worth of cracks to fill on there, so. I guess, kind of just looking for your guys' okay on that to move forward with Mike Schaefer's seal coating.
I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, I don't have a problem. You want us to vote? I'll make a motion that we approve Mike Schaefer seal coating bid for 10,000 some odd to all those streets that you named off. That's too many for me to remember.
Donnie makes a motion
I'll
to
second
approve Mike Schaefer seal coating work, and Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried, to have Mike Schaefer do some seal coating.
And then, we will be going around and looking over sidewalk, what needs to be repaired. So I'll be out with, I have a guy that's gonna come down too, and it's precision concrete cutting, I think is what it is. So he can, if some of them are really off a lot, they can shear them off and kind of make it so it's less trippy. So we're gonna walk around, look at that, and at the same time, I'm just gonna have my white spray paint can and be marking out stuff that I think's just beyond repair that we could replace. So that'll be coming down the pipe this summer, along with just our routine. Well, not necessarily routine. I started painting fire hydrants. I'm gonna hopefully get to more of those, and then some street lights. I did start painting those black last year, so on the older ones, the gray ones. So we're trying to just get those to match. There's still quite a few around town that need to be done.
Busy man.
There's a lot going on.
So the speed limit sign by the baseball field, we have one of our lights with the last windstorm is now facing west.
Oh. Yeah. I'll go check that out, get her straightened
As
out.
as you're heading south, it's like, why is that one blinking inside the baseball field?
All darn wind.
Catch the batter's eye.
Put some Loctite on there. But, any other questions or? anything?
I did get the question, now that things aren't frozen anymore, are you guys planning on doing mosquito spraying?
Yes.
soon?
Yep, we will be firing that up probably right around the 1st of June. We'll start then on that.
It
'Cause
is
they are
helpful to
bad.
get feedback. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
it's just hard to know.
yeah,
I
I
sprayed
mean, if
for
you
the
guys
last-
are getting a lot of them
Well-
in certain areas, always just call me or down to the city hall and just say, hey.
It was mentioned this morning that, like,
Spray for flies.
well, that too.
Heard
The,
more complaints, honestly,
the
on
gnats and
flies than
mosquitoes
on
are kind of bad
mosquitoes, but
at the two
I don't
houses
think
over
that
here,
kills them.
they were they were out there this
Doesn't
morning.
Zach? They don't, that spray doesn't
No.
kill the flies?
No.
Flies would kill every other insect that's beneficial.
You can only spray the mosquito spray at night
Yep.
Yeah.
because of the butterflies and other insects.
Flies are bad this year.
They
Again.
were bad last year.
I would say again.
Go to Pierz F&M Bank and get a couple of fly swatters. I think they hand them out there.
I mean, you can ask. You got to know the right people.
You could bring them to the next council.
So typically too,
We'll
that mosquito
see.
spraying is every other week. You know, if they get bad, we can do it every week. Twice a week, it's a little overkill.
Yeah.
Right, oh,
absolutely.
right.
And we don't want to be breathing all that all the time either. So.
Because we're really killing the hatchlings, right?
We're
Or the
only killing
active
the-
ones.
We're only killing a mosquito in flight.
Yeah.
It has to make contact with that
Oh,
chemical.
yeah. Wow.
I was just
Yeah, so that's
asked.
kind of why we do it at dusk, you know, and we gotta get them out there, otherwise.
Interesting.
So that, Bob, did you say that's every other week or not twice a week or both?
Every other week would be like a typical application if we were gonna hire a contractor.
Okay,
Once a week
fine.
if they get bad. Twice a week would be very rare.
Okay.
The first year Eric worked here, it was a drought. And I think he
Yep.
sprayed once or twice.
Yeah, we
That's
didn't
the
need
benefit
to.
of owning your own equipment and doing it ourselves.
It's still pretty dry, but they're
Yeah, last year was probably that every 10 days or
it was bad last year.
pretty typical last week. So.
When
Or
it
last year.
rains heavy and you get puddles that last for 24 hours.
That's when it starts.
That's what really
Yep.
makes it come out bad. You get light rains and you're not creating puddles, they don't get as bad.
So,
That's the
I don't know if
mosquito
it's
haven.
necessarily mosquitoes. I just know gnats have been, the last couple of days have been bad.
I did also get asked, and I've told them yes, so if I'm wrong, you'll tell me now, but people had asked if you spray every single street, and I told them yes.
Oh, yeah.
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 Whether it's an alley
Yep.
or it's Ronald or wherever,
Oh, yeah. Up and
every
down.
single street you go back and forth, crossways.
Yep,
no
you
matter
hit
where.
Every street when you do it, yeah.
So I was asked that, and I said, I'm sure he does. Okay.
I wouldn't assume so.
Just once down, and the difficult areas are like Cody Court and Camnick Street there where you cannot go on the backside.
Yeah, that's the bad
So
part.
if you
Right.
get a
to some of
south
them,
wind,
yeah. Some
that
people get
will
it
never get
really
sprayed.
good in town because you're,
Right.
and the next guy just gets, you know. that's just-
I get my front yard, but I don't get my backyard. I don't have a back alley.
Yeah, because I kind of miss you. I
I
go
hate
around
to
the
break
bump
up
line.
this great conversation. I think it's time to move on.
Well, move on then.
Fine.
Usually like
Thanks,
to
Eric.
talk
Yep.
to-
Are you all done, Eric?
Yep, well, I'm done. Unless you got more questions there.
No, we're good.
So thank you.
Didn't mean to bring on a tangent.
Sure. So I did attend I'm on the committee for the Sourcewell grant that we had applied for. And unfortunately, there was a randomizer. There was roughly 35 to 40 projects that made the cut, and the City of Pierz project did not make the cut. That was the snowplow that we had proposed for the front end loader. So that's the community impact funding. It was a great way to distribute that money. Hopefully next year they take consideration of the entities that did not get funded.
Start with those and work backward.
I was
You
just
never know.
thinking of the basketball where the Timberwolves never got the number one pick. But, you know, like, we would have a better chance maybe next year. I don't know how they're going to run it, but it was a good process, and it distributed a lot of money to smaller entities. So hopefully next year we have a good project for that again. And then just to update, SEH is still working on the 2024 street project design. So just kind of keeping that in mind. And then Minnesota Power is also working on getting us numbers to underground the utilities for electric utilities on those streets as well. I guess one thing I was going to mention too, Eric's setting up a Public Works meeting. We're still going to work with the Public Works Committee to talk about the shop and all those items that we've discussed. So Eric is working on setting up that meeting before the council workshop on the 12th. So, and that's Don, myself, Eric, and Gary are on that Public Works Committee. That's all I had.
Treasurer's report.
Oh, you got Zach yet?
What? I thought we had Zach up here.
No, he was just for the assistant maintenance tech.
Oh, okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I thought you were putting the assistant maintenance one down here for Zach, but he covered that one there, but he's got more, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I have more. I'll give you an update on, we got 3 green in front of there seeded, and it's coming in very nice. It looks a lot better now. We just got the berm on one fairway seeded last Friday. So that hopefully will start coming, same with in front of 2 tee box. So hopefully that turns green here within a week or two. The pump house is up and running. I'm still waiting on a flow meter, which I could have had done this week, but I told Jeff Yates I don't have time to spend a half a day with him. I got other things I need to do, so we're managing without a flow meter. I can tell how the pressure is, and so the new pumps are working great.
So I also got asked on that, are we going to pump that pond full? Or are we just going to wait? Because right now, my response back to them was we're pumping out of the river when we need to pump.
Yeah, it was filling up by groundwater. That was all groundwater filling that up.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to actually turn the wells on tonight to start filling
Just
it
to-
up. Because we get charged more for June, July, and August when we use out of the wells versus May. It's just part of our general permit.
Yep.
So I'm
yep.
going to have the pond full before June 1st comes. But I wanted to see what the groundwater would do.
Good deal. And I that explained that it was groundwater.
And because of the berm, we were trying to get that all nice and cleaned up. And if I filled it up, I wouldn't be able to pick all the
Do the
rocks
berm.
and clean the rocks up
Yep.
so that when it does go down and grow grass. So, yes, I'm turning, when I go back to punch out, I'm going to go turn the pumps on tonight, and we'll see how long with both wells running, how long it takes to fill up, and how well that new well runs.
Yep.
But I want to bring up Nick. He's been doing very well. He stepped into the position of basically becoming a manager on the new 9, running the excavator. He was supposed to be hired just as a laborer, but he's been given tasks and having to run a crew with another guy. And then once these new kids come, he'll be running that crew as well. And because we're not paying him benefits, or he doesn't get any holidays or any of that stuff, I think we need to raise his wage up to $25 an hour, just so that he will stay around, hopefully. I mean, yes, he could leave at any time. He's still applying for other jobs, but I think he's worth it, and I think it's not fair to him if we don't offer him what he's worth.
Have we considered offering him this other job as a full-time position? Have you talked to him about it at all? And what was his, I mean, he's stuck along. We all go to school for things we think we're going to use,
Yes.
and then we don't always use it because we don't always find it.
I think he's still hoping he finds what he went to school for.
Well, he's young.
But by paying him more, we have a better chance of him staying. he's not going to jump to a job that he's going to get paid less
I
possibly.
was also thinking if offering him full-time, then you get the benefits of the PTO, the para,
Yes,
the
I
other
would love
things.
to. I'd love to do that, but
So-
just as a position that he's doing right now on that new 9, he's over there managing, giving me update when I need it, but I'm not having to be helping him a lot, and that is huge right now because I'm too busy managing so many other things. If he can take projects and go with them, I don't have to be there.
So we have to just realize that, which he probably deserves maybe $25 or whatever. So then we're bumping him up $5 and then we're hiring this new person at 28, and all of a sudden that puts us at combined at 33 bucks more. And I think we can arrive at something for him. I would feel a lot more comfortable giving him $25 if I knew he was gonna stay here. But he might leave, whether he gets paid $20 or $25.
So he works a week and you paid him $25 for a week.
What's that?
So he works a week and you paid him $25 for a week.
Right, yeah.
That
So,
doesn't matter.
I don't know, I don't know, and you guys, well, I guess, Dunny, what do you think?
I've got mixed emotions.
Yeah,
I know he's
me
good
too.
because I used to be
I
highly
had
of him
an
and I've
issue
seen
with
him
my
work.
son. My son had to go to the emergency room for 2 days last week. I asked him if he'd cover Saturday for me. And he stepped up and he did it, and because he knew, and I knew I could rely on him to do it. But to keep asking him to do that, it's not fair to him, and so I felt, but he did it for me, but yet he's doing it for $20 an hour.
Like you brought up there, I think, Jackie, you wanted to table that discussion because you want the full board here. Unless you're comfortable making a decision, I think we need to have the full board here to make that decision. Unless you guys want to make it, I'm not gonna make it.
When are you thinking of having a
Yeah,
workshop?
I think it'd be better, it's
Because
coming up.
do we have one
It's
scheduled?
June 12th.
It's June 12th. We do have an extra break. This is a 3-week break in council meetings, so we don't have one till June
So
12th.
we could do it June 12th. I mean, if he's gonna leave, he's gonna leave.
I would be willing to say that if we give him a wage increase, I would be willing to backdate it. So if we're going to have that conversation and approve that tonight, if we improve an increase in that June 12th meeting and be okay with it being backdated, going backwards, so that he knows that we're seriously considering this, right? It's not something to say to him like, we don't value you, right? But we also do need to be responsible in getting other people's opinions in on this as well.
And actually, we'll have a better idea with this new candidate, by then we should know hopefully who we're hiring, and that'll give us a better idea how we can focus on Nick's situation. Actually, I think it would be a good idea.
Is there, so I guess, I don't know him all that well, right? But I was wondering, the city's gonna grow as it grows. Is he someone that you could see potentially coming into office, coming into,
I think that
is
is
it one of
possible.
those individuals that would be good to groom in many different areas that could potentially take on other roles as well? Because that's a whole other conversation in as far as like what somebody's worth per hour, because then it's not even a per hour situation. It's we need to develop a plan for him then. And is that something that he's willing to take on? Might not be totally in finance, but if we get him groomed into, breaking certain areas when they're gone and learning certain things when they're gone that's a whole other, that could be a multidimensional dynamic, and we're training him into different things as well and seeing him in a long-term position. And that might be a conversation where it's completely creating a position potentially. But I want to keep people who are good people. I also want to be realistic with what we're asking too, because if he is going to leave, I agree, we could pay him $25 an hour for a week and he leaves anyway. At least he felt good for that 1 week. But then maybe if it doesn't work out, he'll come back to us, right? So I want to have that conversation, but I feel like we need the whole board in on that. And I'd like to invite you to that as well. I think everybody's input is really good. I just don't want to just say, yep, let's pay him this, not really develop a plan for it, and not really develop a plan in place for it, and then he leaves anyway. Well, what's to stop the next good person from leaving then too? Because
He was at 16, we raised him to 20, and maybe he deserves 25. You know, so we did bump his pay $4 this
Yep.
year already, so then he'd get a $9 pay, so 30%, 35%. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, I wish he'd stay. I mean, that's my thing. is
Oh,
how
I
he
wish he
stay.
would too.
and
Yeah,
I
that's
can
my
recognize
issue.
too that like from an HR perspective, right, in a facility standpoint, we've already invested a few summers into him, so that training we're just finally recouping back that training, right? So
Right.
it's gonna cost us another 2 years to train somebody else.
So my idea, Jackie, was to, and I talked to these guys about it, my idea was to pay him what we're looking to hire somebody for, and then hire somebody else for 20 bucks an hour to do it, but he doesn't wanna, he isn't entertaining it, so, I mean, that would be my idea, to move him now, but,
Could he move into that maintenance position role and then we look to fill him?
yeah, that's
His
what I,
role.
actually, I think that's the cat's meow, actually, but,
Right now, it's totally up to him, and it's
Right.
not.
But he's not
choosing
willing.
that
And I
right
don't
now.
think
He doesn't
he's
want it.
choosing. I don't think he's choosing that.
I know it. So, well, does somebody want to make a motion to table this to our workshop?
Table it, and
If you wanna add
And
it-
retro
that I
pay
can
any,
tell him that if
and
he gets a
retro pay
raise
any
starting tomorrow
retro
morning,
raise.
he will get that added
it
to
would
his
be
pay.
added to his pay.
Whatever we decide.
Whatever we decide,
Yes,
whatever
that's
wage, yes.
But I can tell him that
Yep.
tomorrow.
I would be willing
Add it the
to,
motion then.
yep, I would be willing to make a motion to table this and then also add to that motion that any raise that we discuss that gets approved on our June 12th meeting would be retroactive as of tomorrow, which would be 5/23.
So Jackie makes a motion to look at next pay on the June 12th meeting, and then any pay increase we come up with would be retro paid back to today's date.
I'll second that.
Donnie seconds the motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carried. Bring it up at the next meeting. Back-
Our workshop.
Yep.
Yeah.
workshop.
And yes, I can be there if you want my input. If there's anything
Have
else,
more of a conversation with him.
I will
Maybe have
again.
him come in. I'd be willing to meet with him too, like, and have this conversation. I think sometimes when we're young, we get so set in what we think we want for our lives, and that's okay. He's allowed to have whatever he wants, but we also have to have that realistic and honest conversation because you're going to have to mourn him leaving regardless. And so it's better if we have that picture in our head now, even if he gets the increase in wages.
It would be nice to meet him.
It's at least nice to know.
And one other position I'll mention is the assistant clubhouse manager. We discussed that a lot with the park board and last year. I think that would be a really good fit for Nick as
I
well.
think he would have a better chance of saying yes to that.
And obviously, I
But
mean,
we
we got,
haven't created it, so he's like, I don't want to say anything because
We don't have a pay
I
scale on it
I'm not going to stay around for something that might happen.
Right.
It's not a might. It's going to happen.
Well, okay, when it'll happen, because
But it's the next summer.
he's been hearing how long
Yeah.
it takes to do things around here, and
Well, we
that's
can-
part
I
of
mean, I
his.
go back, we need to generate, I mean, I want to get that 9 holes going and generate revenue.
That's a next summer
If we can generate
summer after
revenue, we could hire.
role. You know, so that's the thing. It's not a matter of if, it's going to happen. And I think over the last 4 years, we've seen a lot more movement in the right direction regardless. You know, just in that positive approach. So we just have to, patience is something that sometimes we lack in moments of true struggles. And we just have to acknowledge that we're making really good decisions for our city going forward. And that assistant clubhouse manager, it will happen. It's just not this summer or next.
So I think is that it?
That's all I got, unless there's something else.
Thanks, Zach.
Now we
Thanks,
get to
Zach.
go to the most
My turn?
exciting part of the night, the treasurer's report.
Oh,
Is
you'll
it the-
regret that. Okay, so the ending balance on 4/28 was $2,139,708.01, because every penny counts. Total checks written was 600.
Wait, no, we have to approve your report. That's claims.
No,
you're
no,
talking-
this I'm not to the claims yet.
Oh, all right, keep going,
So
sorry.
checks written in April was $630,404.62, which was up from March by $184,584.90. And then the deposits were $208,770.96, which was down by $63,153.86. And we have no further investments at this time because we have a high interest rate checking account.
So Donnie, I think you're ready now.
No, I mean, we have to approve the report first, yes.
I'll make the motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Oh, yes, now you're on.
I'll second it.
Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Approval of the treasurer's report.
Okay, so the total amount of claims up to May 9th is $565,494.61, which is up from April. Do you want to know how much? No. Okay, anyway. No, it's fine. I just need an approval on those.
Give it another approval.
Don't I?
I'm gonna let her do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just,
Approval, Jackie?
I'm scrolling down.
She's looking at them very quickly.
Looking at them. Oh, it's because we're still talking about snow removal. Okay. I will make the motion to pay the bills.
Yay.
I'll
Jack
second
makes
that.
Motion, Donnie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We can keep the lights on for another month. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
That's it.
That's all I got.
There you go, Donnie. It's their favorite time of the night.
No updates for anything?
Nothing from me unless you have questions.
I don't have any.
Sweet. We end on a high note.
George Costanza.
So the only thing I have is our two people that are here, our two supervisors. Streets, everything in the city is looking wonderful. And everything you've done so far on the golf course, on the old 9, new 9, it's hard to tell, just because I go by there. But I've had people that have golfed other courses, and they have said, oh my God, the greens are the best that we've ever seen in Pierz. And they outlast, they outshine every other course they've been on so far this spring. So hats off to what you did last fall, because it takes last fall to get it done this spring.
I
Keep
hear
up
it
the good
too
work.
all the time.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Tony's doing a fantastic job.
Oh, yes.
Also doing very well
Tony
in
is
the
doing
clubhouse.
wonderful. And
A
she,
lot of hours, but I know she's learning and she's diligent, so that'll get better.
I saw her about town today and she said she's going to go live with the new POS system, whether it's ready or not.
When is the liquor license and stuff going through?
It would get approved, the period would start July 1st.
Okay, so that's when they can start having a full bar. Are you gonna have like a re-grand opening for that then?
It's a great idea. You'd have to ask Tony. She can manage that if she's gonna do it. I think it's
Poor
a great
thing.
idea.
I'll send her an email.
I guess then it's up to me. I will make
What's
the
your favorite
motion to
time?
adjourn.
Donnie makes the motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Jackie seconds it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried to adjourn.